Hello, fellow Earthlings, and welcome to Deep Dive from the Hive, where we discuss modern-day musician life, answering the call to create, and what it takes to actually produce what you believe in. I'm your host, Marv Ellis, the captain of this submarine. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, so let's batten down the hatches and get to it. Let's go. We're going deep, under the water. We're gonna have some fun today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for round two for the show this week, or Friday, excuse me, not weekend, but Friday. I'm so excited about Friday. We just had our Worth podcast, Christopher Worth. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy that we somehow finagled this woman to come here and sing for us. You'll understand what I'm saying in a second, but we're just going to go ahead and pop this thing off with a little sweet ditty from the one and only Cassandra Lewis. Go ahead, girl. Yeah.
Please don't murder flowers for my hair. Save 'em for the bees if you really, truly care for me. Don't kick toadstools just to impress me. Don't act a damn fool just to undress me. I don't mind your style if you don't mind mine. Please don't carve our names into a tree. There's seen too many broken hearts, that's why the willow weeps, baby. I won't lose one more arrow for the kill. With miners, greens, and old fruit trees, we'll surely eat our fill in time. You know what a miner's green is? Do you? No? Well, honey, I don't mind your little style. If you don't mind. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
Cassandra Lewis, y'all. She is in the building.
Oh,
Come on now. Now you know why, man. I remember the first time I saw you at Trinity Hot Springs.
Oh.
And then we went into downtown Boise, and I went to your vocal coaching lounge, and I sat amongst large mushrooms. And I remember you got my DJ, Deviate, what up, Deves? You got him to sing. You had him singing. I mean, Deviate. He was singing. You had Deviate singing. You're an anomaly, and you're special. And it's really.
I was like, he's singing that? He sang that?
No. He didn't. You're an anomaly. You're special. No, he didn't. That's what Deviate's voice sounds like. Testify. Witness. It's true. But I was like, God damn, this woman's voice is on another level. There's levels to this game. You know, like Christopher Worth. Levels, right? You got levels. Can you aim the mic sort of at you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have such a sweet voice too.
I'm not hiding.
You don't know. I just want to hear you. And I remember thinking to myself, what the fuck's going on? And then you kind of suddenly appeared again in Portland with my friends. And and they're like, have you heard of this girl? I was like, wait, I already hung out with her in Boise like years ago. How did she get to Portland?
A car.
Yeah, I know, but like, what's going on? And then it seemed like you knew that you had this special thing, right? And you it was almost like you were planning when to show people this thing that you have.
I'd like to think it was that
Am I wrong?
thought out. Yes. I mean, no, you're not wrong.
Okay,
Yes,
it just felt really cool. I was like, I felt cool for having seen you years prior. And I was like, oh, I've already seen her. You know, I already know she exists. It was like knowing that, like, you know, you already seen that movie or something. Because it's very cinematic when you play. Right? Just hands down. It's like, it gives me the spirit bumps. You have that effect. It's theatrical. You connect.
Real theater.
Yeah, you know how it can be different. Performing arts. This is a performing art you're doing. Like if somebody's like singing a song on a guitar is not a performing art, I'll be like, bullshit, motherfucker. Look at Cassandra Lewis. Watch her sing one song, and look you in the eye. You tell me that's not performing art. But I want to know where did you? Because when I was at Trinity, I was like, where did this person come from? And then you're here in Portland with the homies I have and the friends I have, and where did this start? You told me you were born in Germany.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes. Can we start there? Because
oh boy,
is that
start all the way back?
Let's do that.
I was born in Germany. My dad was in the army, so I was a little army brat in Nuremberg. Was in Europe until I was 3. We traveled around a lot. Moved to Florida, 6 miles to Disneyland or Disney World. Never got to go. We moved to Texas, and then we moved to Monterey.
You said army?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Army, yeah.
Okay.
And then up to Idaho. So before I was even 5 years old, we moved probably 5 or 6 times.
Wow.
And
same family the whole time? Same?
I mean, until about then, until I was about 4.
How many?
My folks split up then.
Oh, okay. So divorced parents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. That was formative.
Yeah, it forms you.
Very formative.
Doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
What did you learn from that?
Still learning.
Yeah.
I learned that everything is impermanent and that humans are like intersections on your path.
Mm-hmm.
And that we may have each other for a short time and we may have each other for a long time, but we never know.
Grab this microphone.
Come closer.
Own it.
It's the cigarettes.
It's the cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
You can just wield the mic as you choose. I'm
kind of holding this thing like a little crutch.
Hug the guitar.
Okay.
Usually you play a smaller guitar, right?
Well, no, I have like my concert guitar is about this size, but I just bought this other little like sort of parlor guitar. I'm really loving picking it up and playing it, which is important because I usually don't.
Do your guitars have names?
Nah.
Okay. See?
Thing one, thing two. Sing one, sing two.
Look at Worth. He's already asleep.
Yep, he's totally asleep. He's heard this story.
That guy can
Once you've
crash.
seen the movie, you've seen it. You know what I mean?
So were you when you were little and four, and like, where did this voice come from? Like, were you singing all the time when you were little? Like, were you imagining you were somebody else? Who were your heroes? Like, what inspired you to just belt? Like, you can belt, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Honestly, I was just real sad when my parents split up, and we just kept having to move, and my mom got remarried, and I wasn't a big fan of that guy for 10 years. He was pretty. We'll keep it light and say that I didn't have a lot of options other than staying inside and doing housework and helping support my mom and take care of the kids. And
what kids?
I grew my siblings, my brother
Kai,
Ashley,
shout out to Kai,
my older brother Bradley.
Okay. I met Bradley.
Yeah.
I know Kai very well.
Yeah, Kai's the shit.
He is the
He's
shit.
such the shit.
Your siblings are all very interesting and unique in their own respective ways.
Yeah, all
right?
very, very artsy and
sort of really individual too. You know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Totally different. My sister Ashley is brilliant, like amazing cartoon artist, and
really
very, very kind of like reserved, but also super hilarious and funny. And
Ashley
loves to, loves like manga and is learning Japanese, and is just a crazy. She can draw the entire cast of The Lion King. Like, I mean, the cartoon, like from memory,
spitting,
just straight up. Like, and I believe she wrote a fan fiction cartoon, like an entire, I don't know if you would call it like a comic book or something, but to fill in the like story plot holes to The Lion King between Lion King 1 and Lion King 2. She was obsessed with The Lion King and would like run around on a treadmill with like a belt tied around her waist like a lion and just like on all fours, and that was like her scene. She wouldn't speak like human until she was about 5-6 years old.
That's what I'm saying.
Weird kids, but we're all very, very unique and special.
And Kai
used to build weapons.
He still does.
But
he forges steel and makes swords, and then he has 3D printers and print.
Yeah,
and
he can make anything.
He makes animation like video game warriors, and you guys are all. And then you do what you do. And why? What was your mom this way? Was your father this way?
My dad, I didn't really get to hang out with him, so I didn't figure anything out about him until I was probably like in my earlier 20s.
Was it your mom?
But my mom, no, she worked like 3 jobs, and
so you were alone a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, so
that's where
you were alone, making up worlds like paracosms when you're younger, and you developed the creativity.
Yeah, my mom was scared of kind of everything, and that made me kind of scared of everything also. And so growing up, it was like take care of the house, or just make sure that everything was running so that she didn't have any extra pressure. So I didn't really go outside and play a whole lot. I focused a lot on the family and just making that work. And spent a lot of time in my bedroom, just like hiding away from my stepdad.
Okay.
And so I had a radio and listened to music, and he would often listen to like Pink Floyd, and he was a huge music lover and had a massive collection of like, like earlier computer, whatever, like Napsters and like CD collections and stuff. So I'm listening in my room to his stuff, and Pink Floyd was kind of his main thing. And so I heard a lot of that, but I hated it until I was older because it was just like very tied to my trauma. But then going to visit my grandparents, they were the ones that I went out on road trips with, my father's mom and her husband, Larry, my grandpa. They she watched musicals all the time, was obsessed with Elvis, and like, so I got a lot of that cinematic, like kind of, oh wow, this is just all a dream, isn't it? Yeah. Like you can just make whatever reality into a story, into a movie. So my life always kind of played out like a movie for me. A lot more visual, cinematic in general.
But you really hold on to that, like that sort of, I don't want to use the word, but like that mama, like the at home, but it's very theatrical the way you do it. Yeah. And now you give that love to a wonderful dog named Randy Bobandy. Right? Yeah. Randy is an interesting dog.
He's a super interesting
What's
dog.
up with Randy? How'd that happen?
His name's not even Randy.
I know, but you call him Randy Bobandy.
You call him Randy Bobandy. Well, I mean, you know where it comes from.
Is his nickname Randy Bobandy or not?
I mean, it is a nickname, yes.
We all know who Randy Bobandy is.
His first name was Jack, actually.
Okay.
Which is the name of your dog.
Which is crazy.
Super crazy because they kind of look alike.
They look alike, yeah.
But yeah, Jack. And then it was Cozy Mick. He turned into Bobandy like a few months after that. Cozy Mick didn't stick. It was cool for a minute, but every time we said Jack, he would kind of piss himself, and he wasn't like stoked on that name anymore, so we changed it. It's like, yeah, we having that, He was a rescue. I got him about 5 months old, and he was on the kill list at the pound. And Jesus. I used to go around and like walk the dogs, just sometimes go into the pound and walk the dogs and socialize them and keep them like happy, kind of. Yeah. And sometimes if there was a dog that like you could see was able to be rehabilitated, try and adopt it, and then maybe put it with a rescue that's specific to its breed. Specifically worked with a lot of like Malamutes and Huskies and stuff because they're hard to rehome. But when I found Bobandy, Jack, he was like the only little dog in his kennel, and he was underneath the cot, and I walk by and I'm like, what's up with this little guy? I see this little picture and it's just eyeballs, and I'm like, okay. So I lay down on the ground and I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? And I just kind of felt something like I needed to work with them a little bit. Yeah. So I just laid there and tried to feed him treats and like kind of coax him out, and eventually he came out and like kind of then like went back in, came out, went back in, and like kind of left for a second, came back, and he was like quicker to come back to me once I came back around again. And then he came up to the fence or the gate thing, whatever, the kennel, and like kind of just like laid down, scared in like his own pee, and like showed me his belly, and then like let me pet him through the thing. And the girl that was working there was like, please, 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 oh my God, I can't believe he's letting you do that. He doesn't let anyone touch him, and he's so scared of everyone. And she just like basically started crying because he's so cute, and he was just so abused by his like first owners that he was just like, no one can touch him. He was just totally broken dog. And so I was like, okay, well, we're gonna get him. Let's go. I'm like crying. I'm like, okay, let's wrap it up. Let's do the paperwork, whatever we need to do. This guy's my guy. Now I gotta deal with it. So.
And you deal with it well.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you're a nurturer.
I do love him, and he's also a pain in the ass, but he's absolutely worth it and saved my life multiple times. We've been through a lot of shit together.
And he rolls with you in your van thing.
Yeah, he does.
What is that called?
We call it DOT.
DOT? Yeah. Department of Transportation vehicle.
Yeah.
It's a good little whip for that dog.
It's not bad. It's all right.
So you mentioned the musical inspirations, and then and did you grow up with dogs or animals? Did you have?
My mom didn't really like having animals around. Okay. But I kind of took in whatever animal I thought was struggling. Sometimes it was the neighbor's animal if they got out. I'm like, Mom, but they're so sad. They want to live with us. They're like, you need to take the Johnson's dog back to the Johnson's house, okay? Like, you can't hide the Johnson's dog in your closet, okay? We can't do that.
Is this in Idaho?
Yeah, at this point, we're in Idaho.
So from 5 on was Idaho?
Mostly, yeah.
What part of Idaho?
Southeast Idaho.
Give me some towns.
Idaho Falls, Pocatello, Rigby, Soda Springs. Okay. My dad at that point was in Wilson, Wyoming, which is right next to Jackson Hole. Okay. So we had family in Alpine. So like when I did get to see my dad, it was like an hour and a half or whatever. It was like once a year I get to see him. And
there's your dog right there. Randy Bobandy.
Oh, you found him.
Look at that little guy.
Yep, he's
and he's young. That is your dog.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can't
singing.
See it here.
I was singing a little lullaby to him Yeah, that's when you hear the actual track.
He's
kinda
kind of
like
a whiner.
mouthing the words.
He kind of whines, right?
But he always can hang, though. I mean, he's miserable when he tries, and I'm like, dude, just go to bed. And he just hangs and hangs and hangs, and he's like, but my heart never leave a man behind, you know. He's like falling asleep in the passenger seat. Like he insists on sitting in the passenger seat, even though it's tiny. He could lay in the back on his comfy bed, but he's like, I gotta be right there with you, like no matter what. So it's a lot, but I don't have time for a boyfriend or any girlfriend or anything like that. So
Yeah, Randy Bobandy.
yeah.
Just give him cheeseburgers.
I know. Cheeseburgers. He never wears a shirt.
Got a beer belly for a dog.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger gut. In Idaho, where you grew up, what did kids listen to that were in high school? Like, what high school did you go to?
I went to, God, I've blocked it out.
It's okay. Let's
I did
unblock that
I
portal.
very successfully blocked that out. I went to Hillcrest.
Okay.
Hillcrest in Idaho Falls.
Okay.
I actually moved out when I was 15.
Okay.
My mom was living in Rigby, and I just couldn't live there anymore. The kids were really, really awful to me there.
Okay.
And the teachers also, like.
Why? Were they just?
Because we weren't Mormon. And
Idaho has more Mormons than Utah in it.
in my town, it was 97% active Mormon.
Okay.
And then our family.
Okay.
And then a couple of other families. So there were missionaries at our house every day. They were putting their foot in the door if we tried to close it. Like, it was really aggressive.
Oh.
I got locked in a house once. I tricked into going to or to hang out with my friend Amanda, and then they kind of locked me into a family home evening thing so that they could talk to me about how I was going to outer darkness if I wasn't saved, and that I could no longer hang out with Amanda unless I like saved myself and my family.
Well, that'll fuck with your head when you're a kid.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. So I was like, I think they were like burning at this point. Like, kids were doing crazy stuff. Like, even the teachers were calling me names, would like not let me talk to their kids. And
So you bounced.
I bounced.
Where
Yeah,
did you
could
bounce
say.
to?
I bounced to Idaho Falls to live with my my grandma for a little bit, and then I went.
You find some comfort in that move?
Oh, I mean, it was a better school. Yeah. I mean, I was already working. I was already performing.
Yeah, this was I was going to say. What kind of performance were you?
I was like full blast. Like, by the time I was 8 years old, I was booking myself for all kinds of things. I just opened up the phone book.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. You were singing guitar?
No guitar.
Okay,
I was
just
singing my grandparents got me a karaoke machine.
talk about that.
Yeah.
What
So that
songs were your jams when you were
Oh
little?
man, the first tape was a Patsy Cline
Okay.
Greatest Hits karaoke. And then we had Leanne Rimes, we had Shania Twain, and then we had a country medley of hits, and then we had Britney Spears. And then after that, like, we had Napster. And I Napstered and Napstered any sort of like instrumental track I could get, and just did that constantly. Like, that's the only, like, I just was getting songs, and then I holding little concerts in my basement, charging like $5 to my family to come in. And
So you didn't have a lemonade stand?
No, I had a basement house show at like 8 years old.
I love that.
Yodeling and teaching myself to yodel.
Give us a yodel.
I don't know. I just had a cigarette.
No, you can do it.
Okay, all right.
I'll yodel if you yodel.
I feel like, did you ever see that video of the yodeling kid in the Walmart? You know, the little boy that's dressed up like a little Western kid, and he's yodeling in the Walmart? It's on YouTube. If you can pull that thing up. That was my life.
That was
my grandparents, anywhere I went, my grandparents, once they found out that I could sing, I became like this little, like,
were they Mormon?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, my mom was Mormon, and then other like family members were Mormon and then weren't, kind of Jack Mormons, they call them.
So you were just full on.
Yeah, well, I was like, fuck, I gotta carve something out for myself. Like, I feel like a mom. I feel like a housewife. Like, I'm sitting there waiting, basically smoking a cigarette, waiting for my mom to come home at like 2 a.m. from her waitress job. And then I like feel like, okay, she's home. I can go to bed. And then go to school, and I'm falling asleep in school and just like miserable. Just like, and I gotta go home and do the chores. I gotta go home and take care of the kids and cook the dinner and then do the things. And like, it was crazy. So I was like, I need something for me. Like, I have to get us out of here. I have got to get us out of here.
And that's what you did.
I was like, I can sing.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And that was
and
it.
so I just became obsessed. I was listening to Celine Dion and Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston and trying to emulate their voices.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just sound like them. That's fine. Then I'll make me famous.
Okay.
So I just did that. And sang other people's songs for a long time, played fireworks stands, and like I was booking myself like from the phone book.
I mean, to be honest with you, the first song I heard you sing was Jolene.
Yeah.
And it was like, fuck. Whatever, Dolly Parton. I was like,
no, how dare you?
No,
Don't you talk about mine.
I dare, because
She's my queen.
that modern swag you have with it, it's just like.
Dolly, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, but you got a lot of places to run and things to do and Jesus to talk to.
So
I just love you. For the love of God, please adopt me. Okay.
What about SO15 moved out, Idaho Falls?
Mm-hmm. Bouncing all over, son.
And then no, we're on right on course here. And then you, did you pursue any kind of college thing? Were you like did you do you see, because you were a vocal coach, yeah?
Yeah, so I'll give you the little sort of musical timeline. 8 years old, I start singing. I realize, oh God, I can do this. Then I start booking myself everywhere I possibly can. Stepdad kind of catches on, and then he's like, oh, we could probably make money off of her. So he's kind of like, all right, well, maybe I'll invest in her like, I'll manage her, right? And so then I got really burned out by the time I was like 14. But I guess I did skip over something. So at 12 years old, I did the like a county fair, right?
Okay.
And at the Jefferson County Fair, I did like the yodeling song. It was kind of my signature song, Cowboy Sweetheart.
Can you do it right now? Come on. I want to know your signature song when you were a young girl.
When I was young,
playing
before
county
all
fairs.
of this damage I've done.
Let's go.
The festivals. I will give you a little bit, but we got to
just a little taste.
Timeline.
Little taste.
I wanna be a cowboy sweetheart. I wanna learn to rope and ride. I wanna ride old plain through the deserts out west of the Great Divide. Fast forward to yodel. Yodel,
yeah.
End it with the yeehaw.
That's
and the whole,
amazing.
like the hat trick, and then a kicking the shoe off into the crowd. Like it was a whole thing.
So you had a
I had
shtick.
a thing.
You had a shtick.
It was my thing. I
Okay.
was part of the Idaho Cowboy Poets of Idaho Society by the time I was 12, with my cowboy poet uncle Dave Tingey, who actually just passed away.
Well, his name was what?
David Tingey. Dave Tingey.
His name was David Tingey.
He was an amazing cowboy poet and such a character. I feel like I got a lot from him.
So he was
formative in
Okay.
my music. He was making CDs when I was like 9 years old and stuff, like really primitive and like do the like press. And my grandma was the one burning them and like putting the stickers on them and designing the little sticker art and we're doing like God Bless America and America the Beautiful, and then he would do cowboy poetry over the top of that, and so it was like a little mishmash of very patriotic.
So your Gam.
My grandma's brother Dave Tingey. And my grandma was helping to like do the like recordings and stuff.
So like that was a big move for you to get out of that Mormon reality and then out into Idaho Falls and be around Gam and David Tingey. That kind of like gave you that out with your music, yeah. I
mean, it was one of the things. Yeah, it gave me confidence getting to go to like. I got to go to Canada for.
That's cool.
To Pincher Creek, Canada, for the Cowboy Poets Society, like the International Cowboy Poets Society, like roundup or whatever the hell. So it's from all over the world, cowboy poets. And while we were there, I think I'm 12 at this point, like 11, 12 years old. And I was just so tenacious. I was so confident. I was so sure by that point that I was like doing the right thing. It's been 5 years since I've been performing. Yeah. 5 years. I'm like, oh, I got this thing. I can do this with my eyes closed.
Yeah, this is my thing.
I make old people cry. This is working. Okay. Yeah. Like I get this. This is it. That's all it takes. And so I got there and I put together a band. I just went around there. My uncle was introducing me at 12 years old. Yes. Okay. I was into it. I was like, I wish I had a slice of what that girl had. Like now, I'm like,
the drive,
tired.
the drive.
I'm so tired now.
The passion, the drive.
The passion, the drive.
She had the drive.
She had
she
it
had
all.
the passion.
She had the trauma.
She could yodel. She was a part of the Cowboy Poet Society at age 11.
Cowgirl in a sea of cowboys.
A cowgirl in a sea of cowboys.
Cow them, actually. I just call it a cowpoke.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I did not know that.
there's a lot.
I'm here and I'm listening. I'm here and I'm
Slow me
listening.
down. Now my mouth's all dry. Should have saved that bourbon.
No, you're good. You're good. So then you formed a band?
Yeah, I just threw together a band for the performance, or there was like a big show at the end of the like 3 days. And so I just walked around, like they were old timers with their instruments. I was like, hey, can you play Walking After Midnight by Patsy Cline? And they're like, yeah. And then another guy, and I got a 3-piece band. I only remember one of the names, Larry Pulowski. He had esophageal cancer. And so he had one of those talk boxes in his throat.
Yeah.
And so when I met him, I had never seen anyone that had one of those. And I was like, whoa, you're a robot, dude. That's so dope.
What did he play?
He played the stand-up bass, and he was like 6'7", just a giant of a man. And I'm just like, hey, you want to play Walking After Midnight at the show? And he's like, yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how cute were you?
I have full mouth
I'm
braces.
sure you were just the cutest
I had
little cow.
crookedy teeth and would always smile with my mouth closed like this and my little chin. I don't know. I guess I was.
You had to
I
be.
don't know. I guess I was probably pretty cute.
This is amazing. I'm sorry, you're blowing my brain open right now. Because you already came in the door for the podcast blowing brains. Trevor's texting me emojis of his brain exploding while you're singing, and then now your story's blowing my brain up.
Well,
and we're only to when you're 12.
Yeah. Oh, there was a whole lot after that.
What happened? Well, we did the high school. Okay,
let's.
I want to know about that.
Let's move out of high school. I found a singing.
Yeah.
I'll shorten that up. I've got a singing coach at 12 years old.
Okay.
This amazing woman.
Okay.
Took me in 2 years. We didn't really have a lot of money, so she's like, okay, well, we'll just figure it out. Her name's Dee Savage. DSD, Tuali'i Savage. She's a Polynesian princess, or Samoan princess, excuse me, and an incredible singer and this tower of a woman. I think she's 6'3", gorgeous. I was just like, whoa, you're dope.
Yeah.
And she came up to me. She's like, I'm supposed to teach you music. And I was like, what do you mean? After the show, after the talent show, finished my little yodeling song, and she came and she's like, I'm Dee. Who are you? I said, I'm Cassandra. Or Cassie. I was going with Cassie. I hated the name Cassandra. Cassie. And she's like, well, do you have a singing teacher? And I said, no, we can't really do that. She's like, I'm supposed to teach you. I'm supposed to teach you. And it just went from there. For 2 years, I was just at her house all the time. That became my like escape. It was before I left Wrigley. So she helped so much in like the booking me and like getting me confident. And in like just 2 weeks of like doing vocal lessons with her, she increased my range by 1.5 octaves.
What?
2 weeks.
Okay.
She was insane. Like she was pretty gnarly. Like taught me like the diaphragm thing and like had me up against the wall, kind of like almost like punching me in the stomach. She was like teaching me how to like flex the diaphragm and like doing all these crazy like acrobatic things to try and like train my voice. And before I knew it, I was just like, oh my God, just everything unlocked and things got like, the belting got better. And
did you always have the vibrato?
It was way too much. It was way over the top.
Okay.
Yeah, my teachers were like, my choir teachers were like, you can't have a part in the thing. You don't blend with the choir.
Because you got that Mel Torme vibrato. Ooh. You know what I mean?
That's nice.
It's like real.
Yeah, it was hard to learn to control it and like be able to move from like more legato to like really chirpy or like quick vibrato. But she did that. She like helped so much, and even her life story was just crazy too. But
so you've had these interesting teachers, these interesting inspirations with the music.
Yeah.
Karaoke machine all the way to her. And then where does it go after that?
So Yeah, we did a lot together, and then like a couple years later, she became a nutritional she was a nutritional biochemist and was working on a sugar alternative. I know, dude. I swear to God, it sounds like I'm lying, but I swear.
No, lie.
This is my real
lie
life.
To
this
me.
is my real life.
No,
she was a nutritional biochemist developing something called sugar blend, which is a like low glycemic index sugar substitute.
Okay.
And that was like became her focus. And so she was less involved with like the booking and the singing lessons. So I kind of took over some of the students and the booking. So I started managing like 5 kids when I was 15. And I was booking us like all over the place and, you know, with some help from our studio and whatnot and like choreographing their music. And we're doing like the whole like young kid like scene or whatever. And then this is kind of like a big moment. I was just super burned out by the time I was like 15, 16. And when I went to visit my dad one weekend, he was off at the bar, and I was home with my brother and his roommate, and they were playing. He was playing this CD, Martin Sexton, and this song Black Sheep came on, and I just stopped. Like everything, and my whole world started melting around me, and I just started crying like from this place. I felt like the first like real therapy I had ever gotten. Like it wrecked me.
When a song gets you,
it got me.
Got you.
And I got it, and I was like, what is this? Like, what have I even been doing? I had a whole existential crisis at 15. Like, what have I been doing? I'm tired of singing other people's music. I'm tired of singing at funerals and birthday parties and weddings and all this shit and fireworks stands. I'm like, I can't do this shit. It's so superficial. I hate it. I'm burned out. I don't want to sing at Walmart anymore. I don't want to have to like gain the love of my family just by music, like with like somebody else's music. I want to do my own thing.
Tell me about this song. What is the song? Hey, Trev, can she play another person's song on the podcast?
I could just sing a little bit of it, but like I don't have to play it.
I had an existential moment at the river today, and you were playing this song.
Yeah, I just realized.
I was looking for rocks, staring in the river, and you started playing this song on the beach, and I just was like, "Oh my God!" Can she play a little touch of it? Yeah. Okay.
Oh Lord.
Give us a little touch of what you were playing on the beach today. It's really fantastic.
Well, I just learned it, after all these years, like I've been so just in love with it that I just never wanted to touch it because I worship, I worship Martin Sexton. It is my number one of like my top 3 dreams is to just tour with him, period. Like I just want to sing with him and then I'm like happy and that's it. Christopher Worth is literally the closest I have ever come to a Martin Sexton, and he's like my other god. Vocal god, like anyway, he's over there in the corner being a little creep, but I mean he rules. He rules because, but like really, I don't know. Let's see.
You got this.
So. Sitting in this lonely town, wondering when things are gonna change. Dreaming my life away, and it seems that dreams have turned into a bunch of dust clouds. Getting my nerve up, but my past is pulling me down. Wondering how long this black sheep here can stick around. Whoops. Somebody told me once before, said that you can never go home again. Once you leave, take anything just to scare me away from the truth of who I am and what I believe. So I thanked him for his 2 cents with a shake and some sympathy. And I picked up my blue jeans and I headed for big prize of my freedom. So bye bye, black sheep of the family. Bye bye, black sheep. Oh, that means so much to me. Bye bye, tell my friends and my family. Bye bye, black sheep, gonna set my soul. Set it free. You want me to keep it? Okay. Yeah, we'll stop there. But
now that I've heard your just how you got to that moment, that song, now I get why that song would get you. Because did you feel like the black sheep?
Absolutely. Easy. Yeah. As soon as I heard it, I was like, wow, somebody else gets it. Like, oh my God.
What did that do to your perception and your perspective of music?
It really blew my mind. And it also made me I quit.
You quit?
Yeah, like I quit. Like
you quit that lifestyle of in that path.
I quit music. I was like, I'm not playing music anymore. Unless I can do that. Unless I can make something that feels like that.
And I have a button for that, and it is
logical.
Yes.
Logical.
And it seems it's logical, but people would say, "Don't give up. It's the American dream. Keep following your dream." But you're how 16? I'm sorry, 16.
At this point, I'm 15.
15, and you already lived almost an entire decade of performing art and doing music, and then you hear somebody like really deliver a song that's like one of those songs, and it just kind of shocked you out of this mode you were in and this way you were thinking about music, right? So
yeah.
What did you do with that new free time?
Really, I just focused on boys. And being a closet queer.
Okay.
And trying to overcome fears around that. And like I figured, I'm not doing music anymore. So I should become a wife or find a partner. Okay. And like I was super scared of who I was, and everything just changed. Like it kind of rattled me in a different way. Like it didn't give me a purpose. What it did was in fact pull me. I mean, it gave me the long game. It gave me purpose.
Okay.
But it was really the long game.
Isn't that weird?
It knocked me way back down. Like, cause I was real confident that was the way it was going to go, and tried out for American Idol, and that was a nightmare. I don't want to talk about it. And,
we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Enough said.
Yeah.
But just like nothing felt real, and I just needed something real besides the like heartbreak around me. And so I don't know, I just focused on finishing school. And
what did you study?
I mean, in high school?
You're finishing school. Yeah, you finished.
Yeah.
Okay,
I could barely get out of fucking algebra. Like,
how did you, when you sat in class, I'm curious, when you were in class, I mean, were you one of the students that was like, none of this shit's interesting? Was your brain shooting everywhere? How was it to focus for you in class?
It was extremely difficult.
Right.
I suffered. I didn't realize how badly I suffered from like severe ADHD stemming from childhood PTSD,
right?
And just being exhausted by that age. Now I know, and that explains. But I felt stupid. I was told I was stupid, even though I was really fucking smart.
You're
aced
not.
Tests like all the time, and I'd never have to read the books. You know, I just understood stuff, and that's how I got through school. Like I couldn't sit down and focus and read a book but I knew what the book was about because I could tell. It was like, I can tell.
I've seen the cover.
I've seen the cover and I've seen the back, and I read the end of each chapter and I'm like, oh, I bet this happened, you know?
Yeah.
But I also watched a hell of a lot of TV and understood movies and that kind of stuff.
You understood the basic principles of storytelling.
Yeah, and I could bullshit my way through a book report. That's it. I was like, okay, cool. This is great. I don't know how I made it. Really, probably extracurricular stuff. I lettered in high school. I got a letter, but I couldn't afford the jacket, so the letter sits jacketless.
I'm sorry, what was the letter for?
Activities.
Activities. You were on varsity activity team?
Yeah, I had done so many activities. I was in honors chorale, like choir and all that stuff. We're not even out of high school. We should move on. I'm so tired of high school.
It's okay. But you were in choir, so what were you in choir?
I was a mezzo soprano.
Awesome.
And
so you did continue music?
That was it. That was like...
For some people, that's everything.
Yeah. Well, it was real hard. My teacher didn't like me. She also really didn't like my voice. She said that I couldn't blend because my voice was too, like, I couldn't control my vibrato. And even though I tried, you know, but I couldn't get even solos or anything like that. It was just, there was a lot of politics.
You know Cyclops from the X-Men?
Not personally.
Well,
one time he made eye at me, though, from across the room.
No, you go ahead with
whiskey kicked in finally.
Go ahead with your jokes. Go ahead with your jokes.
Go on.
Sometimes it feels like your voice is like the eye blast beam power that he has that only can be controlled by a ruby quartz visor, and it seems like you. It seems like you had this massive. I mean, I got a logical button and I've got a Mad Max Fury Road button.
Okay.
But you've been spending this time like harnessing this massive power beam of a voice, and it's just like when you controlling your control. For me, like I can freestyle and stuff, but can I control when I do and I don't freestyle? Controlling my control has always been the goal for me.
Ooh, that was a little rhyme too.
Didn't mean it to be that way.
It was slit though.
It seems like, thank you. It seems like you've been spending your journey learning to control your control, and now here you are, like controlling your control. And every time I hear you, it's just like crazy. So you're in choir in high school, and then what happens next? Because that's the area that I'm like, where the fuck was she when it was 18 and like you're an adult now?
Yeah,
what
I graduated
happened?
and I immediately got the fuck out.
To where?
To to Big Sur. I went
Big
to Big
Sur.
Sur.
Okay.
Graduated, hung around for like a couple weeks maybe, and then went to visit my dad. My dad was living in Big Sur at that point. He had moved from Wyoming to California, and it was my first time really going to California.
Okay.
And it blew my mind. I was like, what the? You can live like this?
Yeah.
What? And I just exploded.
What happens when you explode?
I mean, I guess you could call it recklessness. I guess living with reckless abandon. Youth, you could call it youth. I mean, still I was afraid of everything, but trying a lot of new things. I mean, when I was there, I met like the sons of like Al Jardine from the Beach Boys and hung out with them, and they showed me a bunch of stuff about partying, and then I like made out with a girl in a bar in front of my dad, and then he knew that was my first like real like out moment.
What did he do?
He freaked.
Hard.
But not because it was a girl, it was just because it was that what? Like, what are you doing? So, what are you doing in this bar anyway? Like,
he was cool?
I mean, he ended up being, he was just whatever, you know. He was
just
like,
him.
all of a sudden you're gonna dad me right now?
Yeah,
like,
whatever, dude.
Buddy, we're homies if that right now, okay?
Right.
You're gonna work for that.
Yeah.
You don't get to tell me. And so it kind of was like, you know, daddy issues. Like, okay, well, how can I piss off my dad right now?
Okay.
Give a little, so, yeah, actually.
Big Sur, California.
Yeah, Big Sur.
Exploding.
So I was there for like the summer and worked worked at the River Inn, was a little hostess job, and was a pool attendant, and then went to the beach every day, and just like experiencing just different people, people who had their minds blown, who were doing psychedelics since they were like 12, probably. And
were you?
I hadn't. No,
Okay.
I didn't even smoke weed. I didn't do anything. I was a
Sober.
virgin until I was 18. I promised my mom, and then I was like, all right, bye.
See you
Like,
later.
you keep it together over there, all right? You're just running this show. We need you.
Keep your hands on the fader, Trevor. Focus.
So that happened. Oh man, what a shitty. Anyway, we're not gonna go into that. Yeah. So moving on, I throughout my 20s, the beginning of my 20s, like just figuring out what I wanted. I did what any
That's what we do.
young
Yeah.
person trying to
You
get
work
their
the
mind blown.
restaurants. You go to the bars.
I worked mostly Mexican restaurants.
Why?
I got in just because I loved Mexican food.
Is
and
that
I
your
wanted
favorite
it for
food?
free. Yeah,
what
absolutely.
what type
naturally.
of Mexican food is your favorite Mexican food?
I will always try the mole. I will always try the mole at a place. 'Cause
Okay.
That's like a real key thing. That's like if they do it right, then I know pretty much everything else is
I'm
good.
going to take you to Molcajete.
Oh, right.
Trevor? Molcajete.
Okay.
It's delicious.
Yeah,
Side note,
I like that.
while you're here.
Yes.
So you're a mole woman.
Yep, I'm a mole woman. I like that chocolate sauce.
Okay.
And
Can I ask you a question?
Chile relleno.
Can I, now that we're here, can I ask you a
Yeah,
question?
sure.
Duh. Is your love of Mexican stem from lack of Mexican cuisine in Idaho, or is there a lot of it there?
No, there was quite a bit.
Because sometimes there's not,
actually.
like when I go to certain places, there's not certain cuisines from certain areas.
No, that was one that was definitely there. And
Okay.
also my family, my mother's side being Italian, my grandmother's like sister and like their family, like it was an Italian and then Italian side of the family and then married into Mexican side or
Okay.
Mexican family. So our cuisine growing up, my nana would make like epic like fusion Italian Mexican food and like homemade tortillas and like she and my aunt Cheater, we called her Cheater. Don't know why. And we also had an aunt Bones, but because she chewed on chicken bones, like that was just what she like at the table. She just straight up just chew on the chicken bone like until it was gone. And I'm like, that was
Wait,
Bones.
I'm sorry.
This is her ring, actually.
That's the
Love you,
chicken
Aunt
bone
Bones.
chewing
She's
grandma.
dead though.
What was her name?
Her name was Aunt Ro,
Her name was Aunt
but
Ro.
her name was Aunt Ro.
Okay.
Bones.
Bones.
And Cheater. So Cheater and
Cheater Bones.
Nana would Cheater's a separate auntie.
Okay.
And that's like they would make this epic meal of like homemade tortillas and start it like the day before, chile pork and like soak the beans and everything and do the whole like yummy thing, and it's like 8 different dishes into the next day, and making 150 tortillas from scratch, and all of them had her handprint in them, every single one of them.
That's just her move.
That's like the move. She's like, I made this, and don't you touch it before it's
Like
done.
Sauron?
Or she will like straight up like
Hold on.
jab you with a fork. Yeah.
Isn't that what they do in Lord of the Rings? They put the white handprint on the Uruk-hai.
Oh my god, I don't know.
Okay, never mind.
Well, yeah. Then
Talk about nerd.
nerd alert. You should get a nerd alert
I
button.
know, Trevor.
Come on.
Hit me with the nerd alert button.
Yeah.
Nerd alert. Okay, so let's get away from the nerdy
Yeah, we're moving back.
alerts.
Did you know you're dealing with someone who had severe ADHD? We mentioned that, right?
I also
Okay,
have
so-
severe ADHD.
Great. This is working.
See how much more in control I am? No, I'm totally with you. I'm all over the place.
You're
but I'm
composed.
still composed on this path of your journey because
Yeah.
it's awesome. And you can't write a fucking movie better than this shit. You're telling me shit that's like, you kidding me? This is a movie,
It is.
right?
I think
Does you
it's
feel,
a simulation, actually.
do you sometimes
I'm
wonder,
just a
am
glitch.
I in a fucking Truman Show? Is this a Truman Show?
It
You-
really does feel like that.
You look at the stars like these are cameras. Or the moon is a giant, like,
Yeah.
huh.
It's very strange.
So you-
I've thought that a lot, especially on psychedelics.
So then California,
So in California,
Mexican restaurants.
then we're just going to fast forward through all of that because it was all pretty much a blur.
Okay.
I was engaged by the time I was 19 to a Navy guy, moved to San Diego after knowing him for a very short time, it was sorry, no offense, Brady, but I was 19 years old. And I didn't really realize that we were actually engaged. I thought it was like a promise ring kind of thing. And then when we got back home, he told everyone that we were engaged, and I realized what that meant. And then I was like,
Brady
okay,
forever.
I was going to be with Brady forever. Sweetest guy, but too young. I was way too young.
Okay.
And I also didn't realize like what it would take to be a Navy wife. So I get engaged to Brady. He goes back. I plan to make my move to San Diego, and he picks me up. We moved to San Diego before Christmas. This will be my first Christmas away, was it before Christmas? Anyway, not the point. Get to San Diego, and he leaves like 3 days later for like 3 months on a deployment where I'm not allowed to talk to him because he's on a ship.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize.
But you don't get a message?
No. I mean, they could call maybe, but you don't know when it's ever going to come in. I had to get a job. I worked as a cook it was me and this guy who drove in from Tijuana every day. It's called Bonita Bob's Fish Joint in Chula Vista, California. So like south of San Diego, 6 miles from Tijuana. Called Chulawana.
Wow.
Because you can see Tijuana from there. And yeah, he would drive in every single day, and I would either I was a sign flipping mermaid or I was inside cooking like fresh twitching fish for like droves of people in like in super southern California, coming from like Idaho. So it was just like a super culture
you're 19?
shock. I'm 19 at this point. Yeah. And I handle about 8 months of this and then tell Brady like I can't do this. I didn't realize, and I'm so sorry, and I can't do it. And so I leave.
You broke his heart.
I did. And
he went on to win 8 Super Bowls.
I think he did. I believe he's got children, lovely little children's. And
Everything happens the way it's supposed to.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a huge learning lesson for me, or, learning experience. And, I always feel bad, but like, fuck, I was 19. Like, what are you going to do?
It's no big deal. You can't, you're 19.
I'm 19.
Whatever. You learned a lesson. You learned a lesson. So then what?
So then I moved back home.
To Idaho Falls?
Pocatello, Idaho.
Okay.
Actually, and thought it was like my prime. Was working like 3 jobs. Had my first ever own apartment that I was paying for myself. It was $333 a month.
Okay.
In Pocatello. It was huge.
Mm-hmm.
It was honestly like one of only 2, I think, of my own apartments I've ever had. But I was just living the dream there, and then got into a relationship with a guy in the Army who I kind of dated, but was a real asshole to me. And so I broke up with him before he went to Iraq. That was a whole story, and he deserved it. Absolutely. Still deserves it. He kind of talked me into moving up to Seattle to be with him, give him another chance, you know.
You did?
And I did, and I wanted to move to Seattle anyway. I was like, I'm wiser, I'm older now.
Yeah.
You know, if I move there and I don't end up liking this, I'm gonna go, and just get my own place, because I've always wanted to live in Seattle. I was obsessed with sleepless in Seattle, and like that. I wanted to be up there.
Okay.
I'm doing it. So I go. It's a nightmare, as expected. He's super narcissist and like really hard to be with a narcissist as a traumatized like codependent. And so found my power. Still not playing music really. I had like I had gotten a guitar and like wrote 1 song at that point, 1 or 2 songs.
That's what I'm saying.
So we're getting back to that.
We're feeling it.
I haven't talked about this stuff in a long time. Maybe you should send me a bill.
No. No, this is an absolute pleasure.
But I'm gonna put this thing down.
Do you want to?
No.
Don't.
Okay.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just feeling you. I'm feeling everything you're saying. Like, I'm with you on this journey. I'm just right there.
There's just a lot, dude. There's just really a lot, and the details are important to me.
That's why I like your music, because reference little details and things that I never would hear a lyric, somebody put in a lyric. Very specific fucking things.
Yeah.
And that's, I want to know why, and you're explaining why. Because you're a detail-oriented mama, nurturer, and you already lived one musical career. You're on musical career number 2 right now, right?
It's 2.
So the new musical career started in your 20s, just like me and Christopher Worth.
Yeah.
Mine started in my 20s. And this is what the outcome is what you're doing now. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
So how'd you end up in Boise? How did I meet you that day? How did I get...
How did you get there?
How did I see you?
How did I get to
How did you
Boise?
have a vocal coaching office downtown Boise?
Well, it was a venue. It wasn't intended necessarily to be a vocal.
And why were there
recording
mushrooms this big all over your spot?
Because we needed it to look cool. It's psychedelic.
It needed to look
It was a
psychedelic.
tripper den in Boise.
It was a tripper den in Boise. I met you in a
We were the
tripper den.
official, unofficial after hours venue of Tree Fort.
Oh,
Became that.
okay.
There was no other spot that was doing that. So I was doing shows every single night in
Yes.
Boise. Anyway, how I got there, I'm going to try to fast forward through from being in Seattle to being in Boise.
Okay.
Lived in Washington for about 5 years. Moved from Tacoma to Gig Harbor. Was there for a spell. Started doing karaoke again. Actually, while I was there, started picking up on my music again. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. You know,
You got back to the origins, the roots.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Karaoke.
and I was actually playing like guitar then.
Okay.
I started like playing guitar once I broke up with this boyfriend,
Okay.
and like, so I was playing shows and like met someone at karaoke that we every single week we'd go to this Mexican restaurant and do karaoke Friday nights. And anyway, this guy like was like, hey, do you have a manager? And I'm like, here we go again. You know, that was like a pretty constant thing. Like, I'm going to manage you, honey. I'll manage HB and like, you know, drunk people thinking that they're going to like run my life and my career. And so I'm like, yeah, sure, buddy. No, he's like, no, for real. Like, I own a gold mine. I was like, what? And two of his friends, like, who were younger and like a little less hammered, were like, hey, so like, for real though, we have an opportunity. Like, we are so in love with your music, your singing voice. It's crazy. Like, you're the star of the karaoke and like your song. And I'm like, cool, this is great. Again. So we end up, we're like, let's just have a meeting. We'll talk to you about what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is a big part of like the music, like my musical journey. So I feel like I need to share it. But
Please do.
we had a meeting and it was at the older fella's house. God, I can't remember his name right now, but Kat and her husband were kind of like, anyway, and his like assistant, and they were all in sort of cahoots together on this gold mine that he owned in Alaska. He's like a bajillionaire. I get to their house and he's like, his house is just a mansion, like
Like
the
a
biggest,
senator
like
lives there.
the biggest house I've ever seen in my life, or been allowed even close to in my life. And he's like, we're going to invest in your music career. We're going to give you $1 million. We're going to do all this stuff. And at that point I was still talking to Dee, who had connections in Nashville and all these things. And she's like, as soon as you get like anyone to represent you, like, call us and we'll put you a team together in Nashville. And I was like, okay, great. So I got these people and they're like willing to like, they're kind of hosting all these like investor meetings and showing people how to invest their money. And they invited me to like be a presenter in an investor meeting as like an example of what it would be like to invest in a music career. So I put together this whole business plan. I was like working my ass off to like do all this due diligence, start a publishing company in Nashville. So this was like, it all switched, like everything like changed. And that was like my focus again, was like, okay, I'm going to do it now. I'm doing it. I've got songs, like I look good, I sound good.
And
like,
that was the route. You're going country.
it was kind of country, but it was
Yeah.
like a little bit of a fusion of like, that was the thing. It was like kind of starting to develop into my like, okay, I kind of don't want to be just country.
Yeah.
But anyway, it seemed like Nashville was the right move. So we put all this like business plan together. I build a team in Nashville of like Big Fella. Hey, shout out Big Fella. I still got to talk to you actually, but we got to catch up. But yeah, like they lived in Nashville, and they're like, okay, we're gonna fly you out to Nashville. You're gonna meet these people and like go. And I went and flew in, and Big Fella and Doc, this other guy who was helping our team, kind of thing, like picked me up in this big white car, and they just like drove me around Nashville and introduced me to all these like fancy people, and like took me to the PROs like CSAC, BMI, ASCAP, like, and introduced me to the like upper echelon of those companies, trying to get me to like pick the thing. I toured an apartment like downtown. It was like a whole thing. And so I'm like set. I'm basically signing papers on an apartment. I've got like a whole thing. I'm starting a publishing company. I'm like a week away from getting $250,000 deposited in my bank account for this, like for the first quarter of this, like, you know, this sort of plan to just like launch my career, right?
Top of the world.
Yeah, I get back. Yeah, I'm like, okay, this is it. It's working. This is wonderful. I get back, get in a car accident, and my shoulder is like fused up into my my arm's like fused up into my shoulder. I can't play guitar. I can't like do anything. I can't work anymore. Pretty much the same week-ish, I get a call from the investors saying, hey, like, we're under investigation for mortgage fraud or whatever, like, because he ran a mortgage company too, but it was during a big mortgage crisis.
So it was about 2007,
yeah.
2008?
Or no, it was 2000, whatever. It was 2000.
That's about it.
Actually, no. This was like 2011.
Oh.
Yeah, this is 2011. So I fast forwarded through a bunch of shit, but I don't really remember.
This is when I met you.
It was a lot of cosmopolitan.
I met you
just before. No, we met just after that. I moved to Boise in 2012.
Just after that happened?
Because I couldn't work anymore. So all this shit came crashing down. The whole thing fell apart. I got in like two car accidents, and like just could no longer like play. Had my heart broken in a really miserable way. Like the only person I ever really, really loved. And I was like, fuck this. I'm fucking leaving. I'm going back home to my mommy. Mm. And she had moved to Boise. And that's how I ended up in Boise.
Which, I will say, Boise is kind of popping.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of getting there.
It's pretty. It's got a lot of good stuff.
Hell yeah, downtown
some water
clean.
That needs to be stirred a little bit. But
it's
overall,
still
I love it.
Kind of a cool spot. And it's kind of a secret. Almost that it's kind of that cool.
It's not really secret anymore.
I mean,
it's because of Tree Fort.
Yeah, Tree Fort kind of blew
popped.
it up.
That's why I ended up having to move from there because it got too expensive to live in Boise. I was like, I'm moving to the Bay. No, or I'm moving to California. I can't afford Boise.
Yeah, because I just met. Because I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna move and hang out with. I'm gonna start hanging out with Patch Adams' son.
That was not. Yeah, way fast forward.
Was it?
It was wet. That was like 5 years later.
Are you sure?
Or 6. Yeah, that was like 6 years later.
Are you sure you know the history of your own love life?
I don't even know. It's been a swirl.
Because I know better than you know. No, I'm just joking.
I know you know.
But you're saying the Bay.
Yeah.
Isn't that when you went to the Bay?
Well, I mean, that's not why I went to the Bay, but I spent 5 years in Boise and ran that little venue, and that's where I got Bobandy. And
we saw each other at the Trinity Hot Springs
we did the hot spring thing. I was doing the antler carving thing with Gio for a while.
Shout out to Gio.
Yes.
What up, Gio?
Hey, girl.
Handy?
Hey,
we love
heal
you.
up. I'm coming to you.
Lemur Teamers.
Lemur team.
Lemur team.
I love you. Yeah, that was for us, okay? Not for you.
Yeah. She knows what's up.
Wherever you are. It's for you, Gio. But anyway, yeah, so did that. Just kind of was dabbling in all kinds of shit. And started playing music and was like, all right, I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna try again. Tried to build a thing in Boise, and it was so fucking hard to get anybody at my shows. They were so set on like going to the people that they knew in the kind of cool kids club that it felt like I was at like the whole like lunch, the cafeteria again in high school. No offense, Boise, but like, come on, you got to try some new shit sometimes. And that was just like.
But that DJ's playing dubstep.
No, it wasn't even like that. It was just like kind of the same people in the same bands, and they were like, "Oh, we have a new project," and then it would be full. Their new project, and then nobody would go and try anything outside of the like center kind of clique.
For other musicians, where are the spots to play in Boise?
I don't know anymore.
I know, but
it's
where
not
were
like
they?
That, you know?
Where were
they?
Yeah, where were the spots?
The Fox Den.
The Fox Den.
My spot.
Your spot.
Neurolux.
Neurolux. We played the Reef a few times.
Yeah, I played the Reef a couple times.
It was cool.
You know, honestly, the coolest place that I still have never gotten to play is El Cora.
El Cora.
Yeah, I really, really want to play El Cora for Treefort and get the full band in
Yeah.
there. But yeah, I mean, when I was there, it was Neurolux for sure.
Yeah, that's what I always heard. Never got to play there.
There's a really cool bar there now. It's called Vista.
Vista.
And my friend Jeremy is the manager there, and he's in Gypsy Moonrise, a really cool band.
Okay. How's the music scene there?
I mean, it's just like up and down. I don't know anymore. I've been in the Bay for almost another 4 years. Like my life is just like a fart in a frying pan.
So let's flip through the Boise. Let's flip through the smell of farts and frying pans.
Love Boise, had to go. I was like, I can't be here anymore. No one supports what
And
I'm
then
doing. Or
fast
likes what
forward
I'm
to a
doing.
ketchup party at the Oregon
Fast forward
Country.
to a ketchup party. Oh my God, how do we can't fast forward to that, can we?
We can, because
You're running out of time. How much time have we been on here?
we don't have. I don't even know. The chip stopped counting,
Oh God.
but I nonchalantly looked at my phone, and we're about an hour.
Okay, good.
Would you say that's correct, Trev?
Can we just take a deep breath together real quick?
Feel good?
That was nice, yeah.
That was nice. So
My teeth are sticking to my lip.
that happens sometimes.
Nerd alert!
Yes, you got it.
That's Trev, man. You got to give it up. This guy is not messing around.
That's
See, now you know the full power of this battle station. Okay.
If I had known.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I leave Boise to pursue more full-time work in the cannabis industry in California. Refreshing,
Yeah.
promising.
Yeah. It's the green rush.
The green rush, yeah. So I had been trimming for a few years seasonally when I was living in Boise, and then at my brother's place out in California, and like Nevada City, Grass Valley area.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the woke mecca
So
of like
woke.
so woke.
Yeah.
I was into crystals and making dream catchers and all that
Yeah.
heady shit, you know.
Yeah. And that breakfast spot at the end of the street.
I was a ratchet
Poppin'.
shanty for sure.
Yes.
And shaved the side of my head.
Yeah, you
and I
have
went to
to.
Burning Man for the first time. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, oh my God, I'm a healer and all this shit.
Yeah. Chakras.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Energy healing.
Crystal booth kits and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Realign your chakras. And it was a lot. And I was there for
Nevada City
for
is
like a
pretty
year.
cool, though.
It is pretty cool.
Like,
No
we're not
offense.
we're not trying to be dicks.
I never shut. Listen, if you know me, you know me. All right, now you know. Now you know. But I'm gonna shit talk myself probably more than you. And everything's a joke. It's a cosmic joke. If you don't get that, you're not doing the right jokes.
Okay.
So move on.
Moving on.
Anyway, yeah. So I kind of like fiddle farting around Nevada City, Grass Valley, and then I get an offer to have my own cannabis farm, or like help this woman who had been growing for like 25 years, like OG. I won't say where or when or who, but Mendocino. We'll just say it's in Mendocino County. And so I was there and like, okay, this is an opportunity. I'm living in this beautiful place. She was like, I'm tired of doing this. We had a helper, but he kind of wanted to go and work on his own thing. So it was kind of me a lot of the times. And then he would come up and do, some of the hard labor. But like, I was just pretty much alone with Bobandy and broke as fuck, putting all my money into this thing. And like, this was right before it went like totally legal.
2014.
Yeah. So was that? No.
About 2015, 2014.
No, this was like 3 years ago.
Oh, totally in California.
Yeah.
Okay.
In California.
Yeah.
So, so we're like, okay, this is all just like, is this allowed to say? Am I allowed to talk about this?
What? Weed?
Weed?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to talk about weed and my totally illegal, not mine, but someone else's?
Supposedly.
Shit? Allegedly.
Allegedly. There you go. Uncle Nancy did it best.
I had a
He's
dream.
like, allegedly, someone might have gone somewhere.
Allegedly, someone had a gorilla grow somewhere that
Oh,
was
come
rather
on. Yeah.
large and
Yeah.
and not necessarily visible from the sky.
Right.
and someone worked really, really hard all year and lost a bunch of weight and got really depressed and lived next to some gangsters that were terrorizing them with like 9 pit bulls and like on this mountain and had like a weird stray pet chicken who gave her an egg every day, and that's how she ate and survived on boxed wine and a fucking 1 egg.
Because this is chapter 19 of this book.
This is chapter 19 of the saga.
Okay.
And then she allegedly goes to Symbiosis to like kind of take a break before the big harvest, and meets a bunch of people from the Bay and plays this magical show, and this eclipse happens and everything unfolds cosmically. And then goes back to her miserable, depressing farm, and quickly realizes that it is not her path, and harvests some of the anyway. The thing is, we'll slip off. It was a shit show. It was an absolute shit show, and I was absolutely miserable.
It can be so miserable to work under those. I call it the forest moon of indoor, where you
nerd.
Nerd alert!
Yeah, that's what you get. It's like if you live that lifestyle, it's just like this vampiral existence of just service,
paranoia, dude.
In the service of this thing, this almost mirror-like plant that reflects you. So if you're on point, it's on point. If you're not on point, it's not on point. You know what it's like? It's a mind fuck.
Yeah.
And then you're suddenly spending so much money to make so much money.
But it's just like a little.
But it's this thing that's cool, and then it gets legalized, and it's not that cool anymore because everybody can do it, you know. And then it gets commercialized, and then it's.
Speak. Now it's your turn.
Well,
you tell us.
I'm out the game.
I know.
And I don't.
What a blessing.
And there's some that are, and I'm in because there's other games, and it's so cool to see you remember this game because I remembered this game, and that's why I'm not in that game.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about life is if you keep aware, and you try to have integrity to people and do your thing, maybe you'll be able to switch games and not be in the forest moon of indoor. And that is the worst place to be, in the service of somebody else who's a tyrant, because there's a lot of tyrants in that game.
Yeah. It just was horrifying and like.
But when you found your way back to your music.
I did actually during that time. Like I had a lot of songs come through. I wrote almost a whole record. I was calling it Cali Gold because it was about the green rush, you know. I wrote a song called Indigo and then Cali Gold, and it was all about like from Burning Man to like growing and trimming and all the trim scenes and all the weird shit going on and like the murders and like. And the losses, and then the like crazy, amazing people that I met also. So I had this whole thing. I like, wow, that's all I had really out there was like my music. And then this dream of like, okay, I'm going to just do this one, you know, and like nail this. And then I'll make enough money to buy my own property. And then I will never have to move again.
Yeah.
That was the dream, right? You know, it's like, I'm just going to do this. This is the big come up.
Yeah.
This is the one.
Isn't it weird how just the complete misery makes you turn to music?
Well, yeah.
It's just
that's what it's for. It's
just suffering and just being broke and just being miserable. I never written better music than those moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my best songs have come from, and then when His Holiness says, if you live a life of softness, you become soft. If you live a life that's hard, you become hard. Right? And I know that I almost purposely tried to stay broke for 10 years so I could like write music.
Hard music.
Yeah, man. Because I want my shit to be relatable to people, so they know they're not alone, you know? Yeah. But it's funny when you find, when you become selfish and you go for what you want. When you left Boise and you came to Portland and you met Worth and you started recording your album and this album you just made, that was a selfish move. But it was good
Yeah.
because a happy you can help way more people than a miserable you not being selfish. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
When I moved here, I was super selfish, but I help way more people that way. Right?
Yeah, that's the hope.
And so you've got this album.
Yeah.
And are you excited
Fast
about
forward.
it? Because
There's
it's
another 5 year fast forward.
I mean, we're fast forwarding to these bridge points that are like crucial. And this is a very crucial moment. This is like what you've been working for so long. And, you know, all that bullshit that happened and the escaping and then finding this new thing and then the quitting and then that song from Sexton that forced you to quit that reality. And then you sort of like kept it alive and you crept back in these love experiences and this traveling. Fuck, man. Here you are. And like, where are you living now?
I live in a little place called Ty Valley.
Okay.
And I was in the Bay for 4 years after the farm. Or 3 years after the farm burned. And then, just, I didn't want to leave, but I left out of like desperation for my life, basically, like the addictions to alcohol and like the pandemic and heartbreak and all that brought me to a like real hard choice. Sorry.
It's okay. Pondering tends to make one lean backwards.
Well, yeah. I'm also wearing a corset and I can't breathe.
You want to take another deep breath?
So yeah, like, I don't want to talk about the ketchup party.
It's not. I don't even like ketchup.
I mean, I do, or I did, you know.
Yeah.
I want, you know, there's a lot.
What I want to talk about.
But I want to talk about the record, and
yeah,
it started in the Bay.
Yeah, because this is your thing. This is the thing. This is the
Is
culmination
the thing that I care about right now.
This is what it is. Tell me about this record.
So, it is like the whole shittery. This is the abridged version of what I've been going through or what I've been experiencing. And it's like comedy tragedy of a life, divine comedy, I call. And just been so desperate to get something or to get these songs out. I'm so grateful that it's done.
How many songs are we looking at here?
We're looking at 10 songs.
10 songs, and this is a Kickstarter you made before.
So yeah, we started recording it in the Bay.
Okay.
At Bird and Egg Studio with this amazing producer Nino.
Okay.
That
Nino?
guy, super cute.
Okay.
Gosh. And then a bunch of just like incredible musicians there. I want some of that. But yeah, we've got like Trevor Bonson, who's an incredible singer and songwriter. Graham Patzner, who's like the lead singer of Whisker Man, and he's an amazing, amazing musician and composer.
Okay.
And violin. We got Scott Farrer from the Feelings Parade, Dan Schwartz also from Whisker Man, Viva
Holy
La
shit.
Fay.
It seems like you put out the signal and the troops rallied around you.
Well, yeah, it was just, I mean, I think that's the beautiful thing about being in the Bay is like everybody's working on each other's projects. We just we want to come up together. And it was such a like scary process for me to get into the studio. I never had a good experience recording, and I just was like, dude, like I need people to hold me up. Like, this is going to be fucking hard for me. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I'm like, I can do this live. Like, I'm a live artist. I don't like being recorded ever. Like, I don't like videos. I don't like any of that stuff. So this was like a real leap of faith. And then, so we got the bones there.
I think, and
then the pandemic hit.
And then what happened to those bones?
The bones sat in a pile.
Then what?
Until I got through some hard shit, and actually in this winter, like started working on it with Christopher. Like, really, I moved up to Portland because of Christopher, and he he basically was like, hey, it seems like you need to fucking change the scenery.
I mean, straight up, I'm so glad that that's the dude that who you you know came across and fell into is Christopher Worth. Like, I can't imagine a better person who cares more about something really coming out and being what it is, and like really putting something out with quality.
Yeah,
it's very about quality, and I think that anytime you can match quality with quality, right? You're the quality also. It's not just what, and it's just like that's the winning combination, right?
well, yeah, I mean, he's just also, he believes in people and believes in community. And, we all go through the ups and downs of that. And like, especially with music, we've both struggled so much trying to like keep believing in this dream.
Yeah.
That he's been a huge mentor for me. I'm not kissing your ass right now, but
You're just being real.
he's been a huge inspiration and mentor and like guiding force for me throughout, just like kind of spiritually holding me since I met him in Nevada City.
Yeah.
And like heard his voice like cooing down the street, and I saw him performing in this little place that was just empty otherwise. I'm like, why the fuck is nobody in here?
Yeah.
What is going on? Am I having am I dead? Is this dead? Because it's awesome.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't, it's just the same thing. We've struggled with a lot of the same shit. It's like, why are we putting out this quality stuff, and why are we like so connective and able to do this, and not like having more of there's some reason that this is like kind of all coming together like this. But
I think so
very
too.
Grateful. I'll shorten that up with,
You guys are dropping the show on Friday.
Yes, that's
and
right.
You can play together. You can do a couple duos, right?
I mean, I know all of his songs.
That's amazing. I can't even imagine the two of your voices together.
You haven't heard it?
I've heard it, but I can't imagine it like mic'd up. I mean, like, think about it. Like, since you've been working with him, it's been like locked down. And then before that, I wasn't around. I was on the farm. So I haven't really got to hear you guys duetting much. I didn't get to go to the super secret shows or gathering. I didn't get to for stupid reasons, but I want to.
Yeah.
And what's the name of your new album?
I think it's just gonna be self-titled.
Really?
It was gonna be Always, Always, which is one of the names of the songs, but I think Christopher's like, oh, that's the one. But
Titled Out of the Masters.
Always, Always is pretty good.
does that mean that it has to be that? Well, can't it just be Cassandra Lewis?
We got to reprint the masters.
That's crazy.
This is
there it is.
what is
Always,
that?
always, folks. Fuck, I guess it's everything's so final. Why? I hate that.
Guess what?
Can an Aries change their mind?
Hey, how many tracks are on the album?
10 tracks, and so grateful. Also, I just have to talk about David Jacob Strain right now, and congratulations, David.
New baby.
They have a new baby. Can you please bring that over here, Christopher?
Baby.
Oh god. Yeah, I need a little bit of that. Is that all right? Just labels out. Pass that over here. Is that allowed? Drinking in public?
I guess so.
Well, I'll just hide it down here then.
Yeah, hide it down here. Put the cameras on me. Put the cameras on me.
Yeah, get it on Marv.
So this Friday, Christopher Worth, Cassandra Lewis, she's going to be performing her new album. Some songs from your new album?
Yeah, mostly that. And also a couple of new ones and some real old ones.
And some real old ones, but even the old ones sound new because you've
I
never
don't play them.
Because you never. But I'm telling you, we opened the podcast with one of those types of songs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one is the last song on the record. Oh, whoops! Spoiler alert.
Okay, so that song's on the record. You're gonna get Christopher Worth. You're gonna get a night. Tickets go on sale on Wednesday. If you want to get one of the limited tickets available, they are not cheap, but they're not expensive. It's a good, fair deal. You get in here, your royalty. You get to see how the whole thing breaks down. You get to witness two of my favorite vocalists I've ever met in my musical career. They're just amazingly insane, blow your brains open type singers and songwriters too. It's important that the lyrics match the quality of the
Nerd alert!
beam coming out of Cyclops' eye. So, without further ado, I think it's time to bless them, the viewers, and let them hear one of your recorded songs. And for those watching, you get to see a video. Am I correct here? Okay, we're going to play a video. Cassandra Lewis, it has been an absolute pleasure locking eyes with you and talking to you and learning about you and understanding you more. And I totally get so much more about many things and about who you are. And I hope people at home also caught the drift of what you just laid down today.
I hope that you can extract some of that.
You did a great job. And I think that you explained a lot of why you are who you are and how you sound. And I'm super proud of you for sticking to your guns and reinventing yourself. And like, you're dropping that album. It's a big fucking deal to drop an album. And I'm super.
First single is out currently.
Right now. Can you tell people where to go?
Yes, it's actually on Spotify, and you can also go to Cassandra Lewis Music .bandcamp.com. Download that there, and then the full record will be available in August. But yeah, the first single is Darlin'. You can hear it, on all streaming platforms, whatever.
That's what you say. Follow her on Spotify.
Yeah,
make sure you follow her on Spotify.
Pre-save links and stuff, all that.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
And log in for the stream on Friday. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited. I'll be there cheering them on. Being banter man, not boy, man, banter man. And I will be there with you on that night experiencing what should be amazing. So shout out to everybody who watches this podcast. Cassandra Lewis, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Christopher Worth, I fucking love you, bro. Thank you for both of you coming down. I can't wait to spend all week with you.
Oh, boy.
On the farm. And it's my birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
Boom. We're a little barbecue.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
A little bit of happy birthday.
That's going to be going on all day. It's going to be the greatest birthday song ever sung, and that's why they're there. And Trevor, will you please play some of this beautiful woman's music and take us home? Yes. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
How dare you. It's looking good, though.
Running barefoot for miles. Honey, I can't feel